The American people have 3 times shut down an amnesty in the last 10 years, and it's not because any network or any politician other than, a few very small ones were opposing it. It was the American people rising up and saying, we don't want amnesty. So if that's your big selling point,
I just want to ask,
nope, don't think it's going to get any place.
In all seriousness, right? So I'm with you. I want to secure the border. I think we need assimilation. But if we have 15 or 30 or 30 million, however many illegals here, what do you do with them if you don't have a pathway to citizenship?
Okay, here we are. And which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
What is up, everyone? In this one, we're going to take a look back at a classic clip that never gets old. And Coulter absolutely dismantles Joy Reid on live TV, and it's a masterclass in how to deal with woke nonsense. Now, this clip might be from a while back, but the arguments are just as relevant today as they were then. Joy Reid tries to push her typical leftist talking points, but Ann isn't having any of it. This debate covers immigration, the Republican Party, and why pandering is always a losing game. Let's dive in and break this one down step by step. You are going to love it.
Of the declared ones right now, Donald Trump. I especially like.
What about of all of them? I mean, Scott
fake
Walker.
Laughter from the audience.
Scott Walker, would you say?
Of the ones who aren't declared, no, Romney Walker's my ticket.
Romney Walker. See, but last time you said if we nominate Romney, we'll definitely lose.
And I was right, but
well, why will he win this?
That was 2
Third
years
time's the
in
charm?
advance, and it was because actually third time was the charm for Reagan.
Right.
It was because it's very hard to take out an incumbent, and the reason I supported Christie back then, and I don't now, was because he's so flashy and idiosyncratic that we probably were going to lose, but the only shot we had was this wild, idiosyncratic guy. I think Romney would crush Hillary.
I would do anything for
Though
Trump.
if you ran,
Trump.
if
Christie.
you ran Bernie Sanders, it would be much tougher.
Bernie Sanders?
It would be much tougher to beat him than Hillary.
You think would be a better candidate than Hillary?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
because he would excite the base.
The American middle class, working class. Hillary doesn't. She's like the elected Republican. She cares about the Chamber of Commerce.
Reactions panel?
I think it's going to be Marco Rubio.
Well, you think it's going to be Marco Rubio?
I think Marco Rubio's got the best chance. And if you saw the announcement he gave, which followed a couple weeks ago, followed Hillary Clinton's, stark contrast. He talked about yesterday, a candidate from yesterday, gave a speech about yesterday. I think Rubio has the charisma, the sort of freshness. He's Hispanic, he speaks fluent Spanish. That's not nothing.
He's Cuban.
But he speaks fluent Spanish.
No, I understand.
Oh, so Rubio speaks Spanish. Since when is fluency in a language a qualification for running the most powerful country in the world? This is the left's favorite trick, focus on identity instead of competence. It's like saying, well, he's got nice handwriting, so he'd make a great president. Anna's probably laughing inside here because she knows the pandering to demographics is not a winning strategy. People vote for policies, not resumes padded with fun facts. This is just peak elitist nonsense. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys would agree.
Yeah,
sure, as they do in Cuba.
Ted Cruz doesn't speak Spanish.
Are
by the way.
Cubans also rapists?
No, they're good. I think they're good.
They're good? Okay. All right.
I don't get this fascination with Rubio. I really honestly don't. What is his qualification to actually be president of the United States other than that he fills a demographic hole for your party?
He's more qualified than Barack Obama.
In what way?
He was a Speaker of the House of Florida. He was a Speaker of the House of Florida. He passed immigration reform.
He's
a bipartisan immigration. He passed a bipartisan immigration reform law.
All it took for him to turn against immigration reform was for Russia to bought his sneeze on him, and he changed his mind.
Wait.
No, he fought hard for it.
He passed it.
In the Senate.
In the Senate.
Yeah.
And then he ran
He is a U.S. senator.
That's not passing it.
He passed it in the Senate.
That's nothing.
It's also like being...
You know how a bill becomes a law.
Yes, I am aware.
Okay. Then he didn't pass it.
Did Barack Obama champion immigration reform when he was in?
I'll tell you what I think.
He didn't pass it.
Second
what I think.
lieutenant on the Titanic.
I think that...
You don't like Rubio?
No, I mean, all he's done, I mean, first he violated his pledge. He ran saying comprehensive immigration reform, and that's amnesty. I'm against it. He gets people to vote for him.
What do you
Then he
want to do
spends
with the 15
3
million?
years.
What do you want to do, though? I mean,
Still talking.
What do you want to do
Then he
with the illegal-
spends
No.
3 years doing nothing
No
but
one is
pushing
asking that.
amnesty.
What do we do?
And
with
we
the
know
15
it's
or
not
30
popular,
million
which is
illegal-
why I'd prefer Bernie Sanders to Hillary Clinton, who's now on the side of the Chamber of Commerce, because
You are out of the box.
the American people have 3 times shut down an amnesty in the last 10 years, and it's not because any network or any politician other than, a few very small ones were opposing it.
Anna's point here is pure gold. She doesn't need to sugarcoat it. The American people have shut down amnesty 3 times and they didn't need CNN or MSNBC to tell them to do it. That's what's so powerful about this point. It shows that regular folks know what's at stake, even when the media and political elites try to shove their open border agenda down our throats. It's grassroots rejection at its finest. But Joy Reid, she'll act like this never happened because admitting the truth doesn't fit the narrative. Spoiler alert, Joy, ignoring the will of the people never ends well.
It was the American people rising up and saying we don't want amnesty. So if that's your big selling point,
I just want to ask.
nope,
can I
don't
just
think
ask
it's
you
going to
a
get
question
any
in all
place.
seriousness, right? So I'm with you. I want to secure the border. I think we need assimilation. But if we have 15 or 30 or however 30 million, however many illegals here, what do you do with them if you don't have a pathway to
I think
citizenship?
it's
The classic guilt trip argument. What do we do? You know what we do, Joy? We secure the border. That's step 1. Anything else is just a distraction. You don't fix a leaky faucet by putting a bucket under it. You turn off the water. And let's be real, tossing around these numbers, 15 million, 30 million, it's all just fear-mongering to make people think we're too overwhelmed to fix the problem. But guess what? America has faced bigger challenges than this and come out stronger. Stop pretending the only solution is to hand out citizenship like it's Halloween candy.
ridiculous to talk about it until the border is
That's
secure.
a cop-out.
No, it isn't.
What would you, let's,
No, it isn't. You secure the border
I agree,
first.
let's secure
and
the
reason
border,
you secure
and then
the
what do we
border
do?
first is in 1986, Reagan passed an amnesty saying this is it, one amnesty, we'll have border security. It was a lie. Then we got either 12 or 30 million.
Ronald
First,
Reagan
Being against
lied.
immigration
First, you
reform,
want the fence.
being against immigration reform is for the status quo. That means we keep the status quo. The fact is we have 2 million people working in the fields every day in America. They provide us our food.
Machines
Now, if I could, and they provide us with food, and we should pay them a decent salary because this is America. Number one.
Why should it be the
Number
ones
two.
that live within walking
Number two.
distance?
Number two.
What about the other
Number two.
billions
We
of
are
people
not
who
going to
wanna come
deport
here?
our way out of this. Mitt Romney,
Of course we
Mitt Romney got more white votes than any other candidate for the presidency of the United States, and he still got his ass whooped by Barack Hussein Obama by 5 million votes.
And this is exactly why playing it safe doesn't work. Mitt Romney ticked all of the establishment's boxes, but he brought zero fire to the fight. Obama had the narrative, the charisma, and let's be honest, the media in his pocket. Romney was trying to play chess while Obama was out here playing poker. Anne knows this. She saw the writing on the wall. Playing nice won't win elections anymore. You need to fight with passion and conviction, or you'll end up just like Mitt, losing with record turnout and nothing to show for it.
And so my point to you, Bill, is there's this new American coalition. It's young people, it's gay people, it's Latinos, it's Hispanic, it's people who believe in the environment. And so when I saw Jeb Bush actually attempt to broaden the tent of the Republican Party, he had a diverse group of people. He spoke in English and in Spanish fluently, and he was unafraid
There's no reason why conservatives can't win Hispanic votes.
Yeah, there is.
But George
They
W.
speak
Bush
about
got
them
4.
like there's some sort of
We're not winning.
You know what? You're right.
disease on the body politic.
That's a problem, isn't it?
That's why they can't. And
That
here's
does
the-
hurt.
Why
But
would
George
it-
W. Bush got
Why
40%.
do Republicans have to be
Well-
obsessed with winning Democratic constituency? Why don't we start haranguing Jack, still talking.
okay.
Why don't we start haranguing the Democrats? Why don't you guys try to cut off more of the evangelical vote? Because you are losing with that. That's 40%
you
of
know what,
America.
May I
Why don't you
risk
get the gun
agreeing
owners?
with one thing that Ann Coulter has to say? I think it is absolutely a bit insulting to say that Hispanics are going to, like lemmings, vote for the Republican Party because your candidate has an O at the end of
Why
his name.
should they like lemmings
His
vote? Why should they
his
like lemmings vote for the
policies-
Democratic Party?
Because the policies of the Democratic Party, every poll will show you, most Latinos agree with the
it. That's
policies
right.
of the Democratic
they want
Party.
the American
They're voting their
dream-
interests. They're voting the policies they agree
They want
with.
big government.
Marco Rubio turned against his own
dad
bill.
came here. from
If you
Cuba.
want
He was a
Latinos
bartender.
to
He
listen
wants
to
the American
Republicans, the
dream.
first sign you have to take off is that I don't like you sign. Because as long as
I
you
like
have,
you.
I get that.
I
But
dig
that's
you,
not.
man.
But that's not going to win you an election. Because I'm one voter. But there are millions There are millions of voters out there. And when Donald Trump, and I find this amazing
when the book's
that the
called- when the book's
Republican
called
Party
Adios
did
America,
not
it does
challenge
present a
Donald
problem.
Trump on what he said.
There it is, the predictable Trump critique, but let's get real. Love him or hate him, Trump didn't just win over voters, he redefined the party. He connected with people who felt ignored by both sides and said that the things other politicians were too scared to even think about. The establishment loves to whine about this rhetoric, but the truth is Trump tapped into something they missed completely: the frustrations of everyday Americans. Instead of challenging him, maybe they should take notes. You can't win a game if you refuse to understand why the fans are cheering.
On what he said. No one in the Republican Party,
Right.
Donald Trump. It says, so if Jeb Bush challenges Donald Trump, challenges him, and wins and gets through, some miraculously, gets through the Republican primaries, I think then Latinos will say, God, that guy championed our cause. He took on the man that called us rapists and murderers, and he took him on, and you know what? They will reward him because
No, they
he's
won't.
open
No,
their
they
hearts.
won't.
All right. Let me
they
go on
won't.
to
He'll
another
lose by-
subject.
as George Bush did, he'll lose the Hispanic vote 64.
All right.
But you know what? If
And
you get,
you-
wait,
and by the way,
if
you
if
tired.
a Republican gets 40% of the Hispanic
Jeez.
vote, he's the president.
No, he isn't.
right.
Yes, he is.
No, you need 71% of the Hispanic vote, and Mitt Romney still would have lost 4% more of the white vote, and he would have won. So what is it Republicans fixated on? And I do not think you are speaking for the Hispanics in this
You're
country,
right.
because they're
Mitt
the ones.
Romney should have been whiter.
No.
I believe
George
that's.
Bush could
I
have
believe
been
that's
whiter.
the
I think George
conclusion we've
Bush-
come to. Mitt Romney was not white. God damn it. If the Supreme Court rules against Obamacare, can we count on Congress to ensure that millions aren't left without insurance?
Absolutely not. They're not going to. I mean, Congress is so dysfunctional at this point. But the irony will be, if the Supreme Court rules against the Affordable Care Act, you're going to have millions of red state Americans who will suddenly have their middle class insurance ripped out of their hands, while blue states who went ahead and formed exchanges will still have their insurance. It'll be a crisis for those members of Congress in those red states that are going to be fined from their constituents that, wait a minute, I'm losing my health care? I thought it was just going to be them. And when they find out that it's going to be us, not them, I think it's going to be a problem for the Republican Party.
Isn't it funny how the left always paints red states as victims of their own decisions? The truth is, the Affordable Care Act was a mess from the start. It's like giving everyone a car with no brakes and then acting shocked when they crash. Red states didn't buy into these failed policies because they saw the disaster coming. But now Joy Reid wants to act like it's a win for blue states just because they all want in on Obamacare. When these programs inevitably collapse under their own weight, and as we already know that happened, guess who gets stuck paying the bill? We already know this answer. And maybe instead of pointing fingers, we should focus on building healthcare systems that actually work, not just ones that look good on paper. What do you guys think? Did Ann crush it or what? Or did Joy Reid make some valid points? Let me know in the comments below. Also, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.